From the sun-drenched fields of California to your dinner table. And this is the journey of the modern tomato. Mechanical harvesters work in precise, synchronized lines, each machine capable of processing tons per hour. A fleet of harvesters working in perfect synchronization ensures no tomato is left behind. From field to truck, the journey continues with minimal handling to preserve freshness. Each truck carries over 20 tons of fresh tomatoes, destined for a state-of-the-art facility. Welcome to one of the most advanced tomato processing facilities in the world. A 45-degree tilt unleashes a river of red into water-filled flumes, beginning the washing process. The water flume gently transports and pre-washes each tomato while maintaining perfect product integrity. Optical sorters scan 500 tomatoes per second using blue lasers and air jets to remove any green or bruised fruit with surgical accuracy. Inside the pulping core, industrial stainless steel choppers rotating at 3,000 RPM transform whole fruit into a smooth, consistent pulp in seconds. In the hot break tank, steam injection rapidly heats the pulp to deactivate enzymes, preserving the natural scarlet color and rich texture of the tomato. In the quality control laboratory, a digital refractometer ensures every batch meets the perfect sugar-to-acid ratio for consistent flavor. Every empty can travels through a 100-meter sterilization tunnel, where superheated steam eliminates all contaminants before filling. Zero-air dispense nozzles fill each can from the bottom up, eliminating oxygen exposure and preserving freshness without splashing. Robotic sealing arms apply lids with 0.1 millimeter tolerance, while vacuum technology removes oxygen, ensuring a perfect hermetic seal. High-speed labeling rollers wrap glossy branded labels around each can with perfect alignment at a rate of 600 cans per minute. Robotic palletizers stack boxes into geometrically perfect cubes with millimeter precision, ready for the logistics network. Automated stretch wrappers apply multiple layers of transparent shrink film, securing each pallet for transport while allowing full visibility of the product.
From the factory to your local supermarket, and the journey continues as consumers make their choice.
And finally, the pop of the vacuum seal signals the end of an incredible journey from a sun-drenched field to your family dinner table. And when the meal is complete, the journey is not over, and the steel can begins its life again through recycling. Recycling collection trucks bring the empty cans back to specialized facilities where steel is separated and melted down for new products. Powerful magnets separate steel cans from aluminum and plastic with 99% efficiency, preparing them for the steel mill. Hydraulic baling presses compress hundreds of thousands of cans into dense 1,000-pound bales for efficient transport to steel mills. From the recycling facility, steel bales travel by rail to electric arc furnace mills, where they will be reborn as new steel products. At the electric arc furnace mill, the recycled steel bales are melted down at 3,000 degrees Fahrenheit to create new steel sheet for future tomato cans. 3,000-degree electric arcs melt the bale in minutes, transforming recycled cans into liquid steel, ready for casting into new sheet.
The continuous caster transforms molten steel into solid slabs, which are then rolled into thin sheet for new tomato cans, completing the circular economy.
The rolling mill reduces the slab to thin-gauge steel sheet with precision tolerances and then coils it for shipment back to the tomato can manufacturing facility. Blue laser scanning penetrates the skin to detect internal bruising that human eyes cannot see, ensuring only flawless fruit proceeds. A final high-pressure wash tunnel, using filtered sanitized water, ensures every tomato is perfectly clean before pulping. High-resolution RGB cameras verify color uniformity to within 95% of the ideal scarlet standard, ensuring consistent final product appearance. A pre-chopper unit cuts each tomato into 6 uniform pieces, while a vibrating screen separates seeds and skins from the flesh for different processing streams.
Inside the pulping machine, the tomato flesh is forced through a 3mm screen at high speed, creating a smooth, consistent pulp with no chunks or seeds.
Vacuum evaporation tanks remove water from the pulp, concentrating the tomato solids to 28%, creating rich tomato paste for sauces and canned products. Automated dosing valves add precise amounts of salt, sugar, and citric acid to the concentrated paste, creating a perfectly balanced tomato product ready for canning.
The deaerator removes dissolved oxygen and entrapped air bubbles, preventing oxidation and ensuring the product stays fresh for years in the sealed can.
The holding tank maintains constant temperature and pressure, feeding 12 filling nozzles simultaneously at a rate of 600 cans per minute. 12 filling nozzles work in perfect synchronization, dispensing exactly 215 milliliters of tomato product into each can with laser-verified precision.
The steam sterilization tunnel or retort cooks the sealed cans under pressure at 250 degrees Fahrenheit for 40
minutes. A rapid cooling tunnel uses cold water sprays and air knives to bring the can temperature down from 250 to 100. Each label is applied with sub-millimeter precision using cold glue and high-speed rollers, ensuring the graphics align perfectly with the can seam. For a professional, industrial inkjet printers spray batch codes and expiration dates on every can at 600 dots per inch resolution with instant UV drying for permanent legibility throughout the supply chain. 24 cans are packed into each corrugated cardboard tray with formed pockets that hold every can securely during transport to the palletizing station. The robotic palletizer stacks 48 trays per pallet in an interlocking pattern, creating display-ready pallets with hookers. Automated guided vehicles and robotic cranes store pallets in this high bay warehouse, where 65-degree temperature and minutes. When a retail order arrives, the warehouse management system directs automated cranes and forklifts to retrieve the exact pallet from its. The finished pallet is loaded onto a refrigerated truck at 55 degrees Fahrenheit, beginning its journey to retail distribution centers and finally to your local supermarket.
And so the journey from field to table is complete, but the story continues with every can that reaches a family kitchen where a delicious meal is about to be made.
At the retail distribution center, the pallet is received, scanned, and stored in a 60-degree Fahrenheit warehouse until local supermarkets place their orders.
Robotic cranes place the pallet in a fast pick zone based on sales velocity, ensuring quick retrieval when local supermarkets place their weekly orders. When a supermarket places an order, the warehouse management system directs an order picker to retrieve the exact pallet from its storage location within minutes. The pallet is loaded onto a supermarket delivery truck for the final leg of its journey to the local store, where it will be placed on shelves for consumers to purchase. At the local supermarket, the pallet is received and staged in the back room, ready to be stocked on the shelves by the store's overnight crew. The overnight stock crew breaks down the pallet, loading individual trays onto stocking carts before taking them to the sales floor. On the sales floor, the stock clerk rotates inventory, placing newer cans behind older ones to ensure freshness and creating an attractive display for customers.
For the consumer, the moment of choice arrives as they pick up a can of tomatoes knowing that it has traveled thousands of miles through a meticulously controlled.
At the checkout, the barcode is scanned and the purchase is complete. The can of tomatoes is now ready to go home and become part of a family meal. The journey from field to factory to distribution center to supermarket is complete, and now the final destination awaits, the family kitchen. The can of tomatoes arrives at its final destination, a family home, where it will be transformed into a delicious meal shared around the dinner table. In the bright modern kitchen, the can of tomatoes joins fresh ingredients as the cook prepares to create a homemade sauce from scratch.
The satisfying pop of the vacuum seal confirms that the can has remained perfectly sealed throughout its long journey, preserving the freshness and flavor of the tomatoes inside.
The tomatoes are poured into a hot pan where they immediately begin to simmer, releasing their natural sweetness and aroma that fills the kitchen.
With the addition of salt, pepper, fresh basil, and garlic, the simple tomato sauce transforms into a flavorful foundation.
It should taste like the sea.
While the tomato sauce simmers, the cook prepares pasta in salted boiling water, timing both to finish together for a perfect al dente texture.
The al dente pasta is tossed directly into the simmering tomato sauce, allowing the noodles to absorb the flavors, while a splash of pasta water. The finished pasta is plated with care, garnished with fresh basil, olive oil, and Parmesan cheese, transforming a.
And finally, the can of tomatoes that began its journey in a sun-drenched field becomes the centerpiece of a family dinner, bringing people together around the table.
And the empty can, rinsed and placed in the recycling bin, is ready to begin its journey again, transformed into new steel for future cans. On recycling day, the empty tomato can begins its journey back to the steel mill, joining thousands of other containers collected from neighborhoods across the city.
Material recovery facility, powerful magnets separate steel cans from other recyclables with over 99% efficiency, preparing them for shipment to the steel mill.
Hydraulic balers compress hundreds of steel cans into dense 1,000-pound bales using 2,000 tons of pressure, making transport to the steel mill efficient and economical. The steel bale is loaded onto a freight train for the overnight journey to the electric arc furnace mill, where it will be melted down and reborn as new steel sheet.
molds. The continuous caster transforms molten steel into solid slabs 6 inches thick and 16 inches wide. The hot rolling mill reduces the slab from 6 inches to 1/16 through multiple roll stands, transforming thick stendons. The recycled steel coil arrives at the tomato can factory, completing the circular economy loop, from field to table.
The recycled steel coil is fed into a high-speed stamping press that produces 800 new can bodies per minute, each one idles.
And so the circle continues, from field to table to recycling and back again. Each can of tomatoes.
Every batch undergoes final quality control testing, including vacuum seal integrity, color analysis, and finished pallets are stored in the high bay warehouse, where inventory is tracked in real time, ready to be dispatched to retailers as soon as orders arrive.
When a retail order arrives, the automated warehouse system retrieves the required with remarkable speed.
The finished pallets are loaded onto refrigerated trucks for delivery to retail distribution centers across the country, ensuring that each truck carries thousands of cans of tomatoes destined for families across America, and the journey from factory to table continues. At the retail distribution center, the pallets are received, scanned, and stored in a temperature-controlled warehouse, waiting for orders from individual supermarkets in the region.
At the local supermarket, the overnight stock crew breaks down the pallet and loads the trays onto stocking carts, preparing to replenish the shelves for the next day's shoppers.
The stock clerk rotates the inventory, placing newer cans behind older ones to ensure freshness, and creates an attractive display that catches the shopper's eye. For the shopper, this simple can of tomatoes represents a choice, but behind that choice lies an incredible journey from a sun-drenched field through a state-of-the-art factory. From the field to the factory, to the truck, to the store, to your kitchen, and the journey of the modern tomato is a story of precision, care, and passion. The empty can begins its journey back to the steel mill, joining thousands of other containers collected from neighborhoods across the city, completing the circle of sustainability. At the material recovery facility, powerful magnets separate steel cans from other recyclables with over 99% efficiency, preparing them for shipment to the steel mill.
Hydraulic balers compress hundreds of steel cans into dense 1,000-pound bales using 2,000 tons of pressure, making transport to the steel mill efficient and economical.
The steel bale is loaded onto a freight train for the overnight journey to the electric arc furnace mill, where it will be melted down and reborn as new steel sheet. Inside the electric arc furnace, the steel bale is melted at 3,000 degrees Fahrenheit, transforming the recycled cans into liquid steel ready for casting into new sheet. The continuous caster transforms molten steel into solid slabs 6 inches thick and 60 inches wide, which will be rolled into thin gauge sheet for new tomato cans.
Factories. The hot rolling mill reduces the slab from 6 inches to 1/16 inch through multiple roller stands, transforming thick steel.
The recycled steel coil arrives at the tomato can factory, completing the circular economy loop, from field to...
The recycled steel coil is fed into a high-speed stamping press that produces 800 new can bodies per minute, completing the full circle of sustainability.
And so the circle continues forever, from field to table to recycling and back again. Each can of tomatoes represents a new season begins in the tomato fields, as the cycle of growth, harvest, and renewal starts once again. A new harvest begins with a synchronized fleet of harvesters, each machine capable of processing tons of tomatoes per.
The freshly harvested tomatoes are loaded directly into refrigerated trucks, maintaining optimal temperature from field to factory to preserve flavor and freshness.
The journey from field to factory repeats with each new season, a rhythm of agriculture and industry that bring.
The same unloading process that began the first cycle repeats with each new shipment, a testament to the factory.
Each tomato from the new harvest undergoes the same rigorous optical sorting, ensuring that only the highest quality fruit proceeds to pulping, just like the first batch. Inside the pulping core, the new harvest tomatoes are transformed into pulp at 3,000 RPM, just like every batch. The hot break process repeats with each batch, using steam injection to deactivate enzymes and preserve the natural color. Every new batch undergoes the same rigorous laboratory testing, ensuring that the sugar-to-acid ratio and viscosity.
And so the cycle continues indefinitely, from field to factory to table to recycling and back to field.
The new batch of tomato cans begins its journey to consumers, traveling the same routes as countless batches before full companies. At the retail distribution center, the new pallets are received, scanned, and stored,
Ready to be dispatched to supermarkets, the new pallets are stored in the high bay racks using first-in, first-out rotation, ensuring that consumers always receive the freshest product available from each new batch. When a supermarket places an order, the automated system retrieves the required pallets from the racks with remarkable speed. The pallets are loaded onto a local delivery truck for the final leg of their journey to the supermarket, where they will be stocked and made available to consumers. At the supermarket, the new stock is received and broken down by the overnight crew, who work diligently to ensure the shelves are fully stocked. The stock clerk rotates the inventory, placing newer cans behind older ones to ensure freshness, and creates an attractive display.
For the shopper, this simple can of tomatoes represents a choice, but behind that choice lies an incredible journey from a sun-drenched field through a state-of-the-art factory.
Freakles. From the field to the factory to the truck to the store to your kitchen, the journey of the modern tomato repeats with every can. The circle never breaks. It only continues. Season after season, batch after batch, meal.
This video is created for educational and informational purpose using advanced AI tools and human creativity. All concepts, scripting, and storytelling are independently developed to ensure originality. Visuals and animations are generated or enhanced using AI technologies such as Veo, Canva, and Group AI, while final editing and post-production are completed using CapCut and other professional editing tools. No external creator content has been copied or reused. Any resemblance to real-world environment, factories, or processes is purely coincidental. All scenes shown in this video are digitally created and do not represent real footage. This content is produced with transparency and follows YouTube monetization guidelines.